of the world and how it affects cryptocurrency. And I know a lot of people don't understand how this was um how this affects cryptocurrency, but it really does. Okay, give me a second. Just think about everything,
The
and it
stock market will fall
applies.
further. I'm going to give you the time frame of
So let's watch Clear Value Tax, the GOAT.
the stock market will fall further. I'm going to give you the time frame of the stock market crash. I just want to say that piecing together this puzzle, it's been a bloody mess, but I'm going to share with you what I have so far. I have elements of farming, oil, geopolitics, interest rates, the Federal Reserve, monetary supply, etc. These will be drags on the economy, thereby inflicting more pain on the stock market. We're going to begin this conversation with farming. And here's what you know. You know that we have a fertilizer shortage. With less fertilizer, that's going to mean less crop yields. So we can agree to that, right? We're going to see the problems in September. September is going to be the start of harvest season. Of course, different crops are harvested at different times of the year, but planting season to harvest from when fertilizer prices dramatically increased will be from September to December. The results, they're going to be bad because, again, less fertilizer, less crop yield, and this is not priced into the stock markets. So this is very significant because this is going to make inflation worse. If a farmer uses the same amount of fertilizer, it's going to be more expensive for them to produce, so we end up with higher food prices, higher inflation. If a farmer uses less fertilizer to save money, their crop yields fall. This means less supply and higher inflation. And you should know that we had a shortage of fertilizer before the Russian invasion because of the pandemic. So prices were going up before then. Of course, after Russia invaded, the price just spiked up dramatically and prices have been climbing since then. So fertilizer prices, they've been coming down slightly over the past few days. However, they're still up 80% compared to a year ago. And I want to clarify, it's not like September through December is going to be a bad period. No, September is going to be the start of the problems. So we're currently in the second quarter, it's June. In the fourth quarter of this year, you're going to see the food shortages and the famine in North Africa and in the Mideast. So this is obviously going to bring instability. So besides the humanitarian concerns, why should you care? It's because we live in an integrated world. So problems over there equates to more supply chain problems over here on a direct and indirect basis. So more supply chain disruptions, that's going to mean more inflation. For you and me, it's going to mean higher food prices. But when you have higher food prices, that means that Americans will have less discretionary income. So this is going to hurt the economy and it's going to keep inflation elevated. So listen, I am not a fortune teller. All I'm saying is that less fertilizer equals less crops. Less crops is going to mean higher food prices. Higher food prices means more inflation and less discretionary income. More inflation and less discretionary income means bad for the economy. Bad for the economy means bad for the stock markets. It also
And cryptocurrency markets
means with higher inflation, the Federal Reserve, they must stay aggressive on tightening. And aggressive tightening means bad for the stock market. So that's my logic, and I basically showed you my work. Now let's talk about Russia and Ukraine, because this is not priced into the stock markets. Russia invading Ukraine, it's not just about the gas and oil, it's for national security. So I'm not talking about NATO creeping up on their doorstep. I'm talking about the topography. So Russia needs to take over Ukraine because their terrain, their geography, it is vital for their national security. Russia invaded now because of their demographics, their aging population. So it was now or never for them, and they chose now. It is mission critical that Russia succeeds in Ukraine by the end of the year. So we're talking about Q4. If Russia succeeds, you can expect the pipeline infrastructure that goes from Russia through Ukraine to Europe to be destroyed. So that's going to be a result of collateral damage or sabotage by the Ukrainians if their country is occupied. So without that infrastructure, you need to understand the ramifications. So here's the situation. Russia sources a significant amount of their oil from their tundra, and it is cold up there. So as long as the oil is moving in the pipelines and everything is fine, if the oil stops moving in the tundra weather, the oil, it's going to freeze. It's going to turn into a semi-solid state, into a gel. That would burst Russian pipelines in the north. So it's basic science. You could think about it like this. Water freezes at 32 degrees Fahrenheit, right? Will a river freeze at 32 degrees Fahrenheit? The answer is no, because the water is in motion and has a lower freezing temperature. So you take those Ukrainian pipelines out of commission, the oil stops flowing, and then you have a big problem. So when you subtract a few million barrels of oil from the global production scene, oil prices would skyrocket. As you know, if you have higher oil prices, then you're going to have higher gasoline prices, you're going to have higher diesel fuel prices. That's going to mean higher prices for farmers, shipping, and American consumers, more inflation, and less discretionary income. So again, the time frame of this is Q4 of this year. So did you think about this? Did you even know this? If not, then how can you claim that this is already priced into the stock market? I don't think so. In terms of the geopolitics, I don't know if you're aware of this, but this has been unraveling in plain view, in front of your very own eyes. So we're seeing a shift from globalization to regionalization. Our trade with Mexico and Canada, it's been increasing, and it's going to continue to increase dramatically. We've been getting out of the Mideast. Europe is trying to get away from Russia. China is isolating. So this pattern, it is occurring worldwide. Our whole network of interconnected international trade, it is changing. Countries are relying more on trading partners in their own region. This shift, it's going to take time, but it's occurring very fast. With this transition, supply chains, they will be disrupted. So this is going to mean more inflation. So with what I told you so far, do you think that Q3 is looking bright? How about Q4? To me, I don't think so. Will inflation come down substantially? I am skeptical. So this is where the Federal Reserve enters the picture. Inflation is simply not slowing down. The Federal Reserve, they're trying to slow it down by getting more aggressive. So they increased interest rates by 0.75% on Wednesday. So 0.5%, that is big. 0.75%, that is huge. So that's how bad the situation is. Jerome Powell, chairman of the Federal Reserve, he said on Wednesday that it's going to be difficult to achieve a soft landing. So if you've been watching me for a while now, you already know that, well, first, I appreciate that, but you already know that I've been calling BS on a soft landing since 2021, and you most likely were skeptical as well. The Federal Reserve said that they're going to raise interest rates faster to fight inflation. They're going to raise interest rates 2 more times in the third quarter and 2 more times in the fourth quarter. Jerome Powell said that they're going to raise interest rates another 0.5% or 0.75% in July. So they're supposed to raise interest rates 2 more times in the first quarter of 2023. So here's what I foresee. And again, I am not fortune telling. I'm just putting the pieces of this puzzle together. So there's going to be a slow grind down of the stock market. There's going to be small rallies here and there. So those rallies, they can last for a few days. They can last for a few weeks, 2 weeks, 4 weeks. But the overall direction, it's going to be down, and we have not hit the bottom. And one of these days, you're going to see this. There's going to be panic selling. There's going to be a horrifying one-day plunge. But that's when you should be a buyer. So whether that crash is going to occur in Q3 or Q4, that is unpredictable. And I am reminding you, so this is like the most important part. In 2023, the Federal Reserve, they're going to stop quantitative tightening out of necessity. The math, it doesn't work out. The Federal Reserve, they're acting all tough and aggressive, and they're supposed to keep tightening in 2023. But I am calling BS. I'm saying that they're going to chicken out and they're going to stop tightening. So wait for the crash, buy stocks before they stop tightening, because when they stop, you're going to see more inflation and you're going to see the stock market go up. And I'm going to end with this. it is very important for you to understand how all of these factors affect the stock market, and your money is on the line. But you might say, I mean, a lot of people are saying, I know this is important, but I don't have time. Like, Brian, I have a job. Brian, I have kids. Brian, I'm lazy. Or you might be a beginner and you're just starting to learn this stuff. So listen, I get it. I understand. If that's your case, subscribe to my channel and I'm going to keep you in the loop. I will save you time. So listen, if I wasn't on YouTube, I would be researching this stuff anyways for myself because I am an investor. I am not a speculator. So if I'm going to be doing it anyways, you know, I might as well just share it with you, right? So please subscribe and please take care.
No, it's about crypto. It applies to crypto too. When you think about discretionary spending, that's crypto, right? It's for people to it's for people that you know, we have extra cash. No one's going to be buying crypto if you don't have extra cash. They're just not. They can't